Okay, hello, let's get this recap started. But before we begin, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more quick movie recaps. Meet Natasha, she's skiing down a mountain. A man shows up next to her and she gives him a look, seemingly to signal him for something. He texts the bathroom for other people, then lets her inside. Natasha is in the bathroom and it turns out there was someone inside the man missed. Natasha immediately runs over to the woman, stating her name. Let's flash back some years so we can understand this story more. We see young Natasha at a bar with her dad. Her dad seems pretty lit. Natasha tells her pops that they should go home or her mom will worry. He says they'll go home soon. It's the next morning and Natasha is getting ready for school. We get a sense that her mom isn't the most compassionate person as she tells Natasha to stop eating so many biscuits if she doesn't want to be fat. Mom sees that Natasha is tired and guesses she went to the bar with her father. She tells her that if her father takes her to the bar one more time, she'll not be able to see him again. Natasha tries to defend her father and gets a slap for her troubles. Natasha leaves for school. Her mom tries to apologize, but Natasha ignores her. As Natasha is walking to school, she gets abducted by someone. She's struggling, but the man overpowers her. He throws her in his van and knocks her unconscious. Another little girl seemed to witness the encounter, but doesn't know what to do. The man arrives at his home and locks Natasha in a room. We see that the man has taken many precautions to keep this room a secret. Natasha wakes up and tries to look for a way out, but sees it's futile. The man comes back to the room with a mattress, food, and water. She asks for her mom, but he ignores her. The man leaves. It's day 3 and the man is casually going about his day. He brings down a book to Natasha and reads to her. She listens to the story in a corner eating a cookie. When he finishes the story, she asks for a goodnight kiss like her mother used to give her. The man obliges. Let's cut to Natasha's mom and see what she's up to. She's watching the news reports with Natasha's grandmother hoping for good news about her daughter. Back to Natasha's kidnapper. By the way, his name is Wolfgang. He's chopping it up with his mom, who's complaining about his living arrangements, while he seems very awkward. The two are then watching the news together about Natasha. Wolfgang's mother, who also seems emotionally detached, makes remarks about how Natasha is probably being abused, while Wolfgang states that the kidnapper just must be crazy. Wolfgang is then shampooing Natasha's hair when she gives him a letter she wants him to give to her mother. He claims no one wants her, and they get into an argument which ends with him dunking her head repeatedly in the water, then leaving. The next day, police show up to Wolfgang's spot. Wolfgang seems very compliant. The cops are searching and Wolfgang has all his bases covered. He then heads back to the basement to chop it up with Natasha. She asks for a clock so she can get a sense of time, to which he says sure. He also installs an intercom. She asks if he sent the letter she gave him earlier, to which he says yes. We later see him rip up the letter. Fast forward to day 183. Natasha seems noticeably bored, doing random activities to keep stimulated when she gets a call on the intercom from Wolfgang. He asks if she brushed her teeth and cleaned her plate. She lies and says yes. He tells her she must obey him and goes down to bring her an empty plate, saying she doesn't need any food anyway as she's fat. This seems to be the final straw for her as she begins to fight him. He overpowers her and brings her to the vent and says no one will ever hear her scream. He also flexes his bolted door, saying she won't ever be able to escape either. This seems to break Natasha as she spends the next few days sitting by herself reading. In these few days, she hasn't had anything to eat and hunger takes its toll on her. She begs Wolfgang for food, to which he constantly responds, "Obey me." We jump to 4 years later and the same interaction is going on. We see that he starves her often, trying to train her to be obedient. In these 4 years, we also see she's malnourished and lost a lot of weight. One day she's reading when her period begins. The two don't know what to do. Wolfgang tells her to clean the room, but she asks if she can take a shower upstairs first, to which he reluctantly replies yes. He opens her cage and she's in awe of the sunlight piercing through her dark basement. Wolfgang tells her if she tries anything, he'll blow up the house, as he's rigged the front door with explosives. She says she'll do as she's told. She's showering but must do so with him watching. One day Wolfgang's mom comes back. She asks if he has a girlfriend, pulling a blonde hair from his jacket. He says nah. Wolfgang then responds to this by shaving Natasha's head. We cut to Christmas. Natasha is giddy as Wolfgang comes down to bring her presents. She tries to give him a hug, but he awkwardly tells her to stop. She says since it's Christmas, she wants to know what her family is doing. He says not to worry about it, that he's her family now, and gives her a new name, Bebe. But we, the audience, are going to continue calling her by her real name, Natasha. He also tells her his name for the first time, Wolfgang. Let's head back over to her real family and see what they're up to. Natasha's mother and grandmother are together for the holidays, reminiscing about Natasha. They even still get her a present every year. Back to Wolfgang and Natasha doing construction on his house. She jokingly asks if he's making a new room for his girlfriend, to which he angrily smashes a bag of cement in her face. He tells her she's sleeping with him tonight. As they're sleeping together, he zip ties her arm to his. Many days are passing by and we see Wolfgang getting more comfortable with Natasha, letting her out of the basement more often. We cut to him at the club. He's dancing with a girl and both seem to be pretty into it at first, but Wolfgang suddenly stops and heads home. When he gets home, he forces himself on Natasha. After the ordeal, she asks if she can go to the garden, to which he says yes and takes her. He then drags her back to her basement, seemingly frustrated with himself. Let's fast forward to day 2029. Natasha is being forced to cook Wolfgang's food, but doesn't make it to his liking, so he hits her. She tries to eat some food since she's constantly being starved, but he makes her throw it back up over a sink. He then locks her in a dark hole. One day, Wolfgang is taking Natasha with him to run some errands. Natasha is overwhelmed by all the passerbys. At one point, Wolfgang leaves Natasha alone at the store, but she doesn't run or even ask for help. She's been overtaken by Stockholm Syndrome, the words "obey me" ringing over her head. Flash to day 2175. The room Natasha and Wolfgang have been building for her has been complete, and the two celebrate. Natasha is then in the basement, emotional, as she listens to her radio, with the announcer noting it's been 6 years since her disappearance. Wolfgang takes her to her new room, making her put on lingerie, saying that it's their wedding day. She asks him why he chose her. He tells her when she was very young, they locked eyes at a convenience store once. He immediately began building her basement. Wolfgang then gets intimate with her. Natasha is sent back down to her basement, where she starts a fire trying to kill herself. The smoke proves too intense and she stops the fire. She then tries to cover up the smoke smell, but to no avail. Wolfgang begins mercilessly beating her. She tells Wolfgang that if she isn't allowed to leave, one of them must die. She makes a note of how he beat her and puts it in a box. We also see she has many other notes in the box about times that were particularly bad. Now cut to where the movie began. Natasha is at the slopes with Wolfgang. Wolfgang is at the door guarding the bathroom. Natasha is speaking to the woman asking for help, but the woman doesn't speak English and leaves. Natasha and Wolfgang are driving down the mountain and he asks her about the bathroom encounter, to which she said nothing happened. He doesn't believe her and begins to beat her. She adds this beating to the box. We cut to day 2908. It's Natasha's 18th birthday. Wolfgang gets her a cake and the two are celebrating. He also gets her a dress and the two begin to dance. The two are working on the garden when the neighbor sees them. The neighbor and Wolfgang simply awkwardly greet each other. The two are cleaning the van one day when Natasha notices the gate is open. Wolfgang then takes a phone call. He's become overconfident in his ability to control her. Natasha makes a break for it. Wolfgang comes back, but it's too late. Natasha encounters an older woman working on her garden begging for help. We've now come to day 3096. The police arrive and meet the girl that has slipped through their grasp for so many years. Wolfgang kills himself by sitting in front of a train. Natasha sees her parents for the first time in 8 years and they embrace. The end.